A single shield hits the ground. The metallic clang echoes across Parliament Square. Within 60 seconds, 40 more officers drop their shields and walk away. This is the moment the British state lost London. What you're about to witness isn't just a protest gone wrong. It's a blueprint for how quickly modern governments can lose control. And it happened in under 6 hours. If you want to understand what happens when the social contract breaks, hit subscribe, because this pattern is spreading. February 2025, central London. For weeks, tensions have been building. New surveillance laws, expanded police powers, arrests of peaceful demonstrators under vague public order charges. The government's message was clear: we decide what's acceptable protest. The public's response was equally clear: no, you don't. March 8th, 2025, 7:30 p.m, 15,000 people fill Parliament Square. The protest is peaceful, organised. Families with children, elderly veterans, university students. They're demanding one thing: repeal the Public Order Act amendments. Inside number 10 Downing Street, Prime Minister Keir Starmer watches the drone feeds. His security team presents 3 options. Option 1, negotiate, send ministers to talk. Option 2, wait them out, let them protest peacefully and go home. Option 3, clear the square. Show strength. Starmer chooses option 3. At 8:47 p.m, the order goes out. Metropolitan police units in full riot gear form a line across Whitehall. Over loudspeakers, the warning repeats: this is now an unlawful assembly. Disperse immediately or face arrest. The crowd doesn't move. Instead, 15,000 people sit down. Just sit, arms linked, silent. It's the most powerful act of civil disobedience London has seen in decades. The police advance anyway, shields locked, batons ready, boots hitting pavement in synchronised rhythm. It's designed to intimidate, to break resolve. For 3 minutes, nothing happens. Police push forward. Protesters sit, the gap closes. Then at 9:04 p.m, someone in the crowd lights a red smoke flare. The flare wasn't thrown at police, it was held up. A signal. Within seconds, red smoke flares ignite across the entire square, dozens of them. The visual is stunning. Parliament Square looks like it's on fire. But here's what's critical: no violence, no projectiles, just smoke and silence. The police don't know how to respond to peaceful spectacle. They were trained for aggression, not choreographed resistance. The advancing line stops, uncertain. Then the phones come out, thousands of them, held high, recording everything. And this is where the government makes its fatal mistake. At 9:18 p.m, mobile data in central Westminster suddenly goes dark. Cell service cut, internet down. It's a communications blackout, the kind you see in authoritarian crackdowns. The problem: everyone noticed. And the blackout only affects the protest zone. Surrounding neighbourhoods still have service. People on the edges record the moment their phones die. They walk 2 blocks. Service returns. They post the evidence. Within minutes, hashtag UK blackout is trending globally. 50 million impressions in the first hour. The narrative shifts instantly. This isn't about public order anymore. It's about government suppression of free speech. Back in Parliament Square, protesters realise their phones are dead. But instead of panicking, they adapt. Someone starts singing, others join. 15,000 voices, no amplification, singing Jerusalem. The sound is haunting, powerful, defiant. And here's the thing about sound: you can't block it with riot shields. Police officers stand there facing a seated crowd singing the unofficial anthem of England. Some officers start to look uncomfortable. At 10:35 p.m, the situation deteriorates rapidly. Reports flood in. Manchester, Birmingham, Leeds, Bristol, Liverpool, Glasgow, copycat protests. Same tactics: sit-down resistance, red smoke, linked arms. This isn't one protest, it's a coordinated national movement. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner calls number 10. Sir, we have a problem. We can arrest them, but we can't move 15,000 people who won't stand up. And if we drag them out on camera, we lose the public. Starmer faces the reality. Force won't work here. The optics are poison. But backing down looks like surrender. He makes the call. Clear the square. Use necessary force. At 11:52 p.m, police move in. They start pulling seated protesters apart, dragging them toward police vans. The crowd doesn't fight back. They go limp. Make themselves heavy. It takes 4 officers to carry 1 protester. The math is impossible. 15,000 people, maybe 800 police. This will take hours, and every second is being filmed from surrounding buildings. Then at 12:40 a.m, something breaks. A young officer, maybe 24 years old, stops mid-drag. He's pulling a grandmother. She's not resisting, not fighting, just sitting there, holding a sign that reads, "I survived the Blitz. I'll survive this." The officer looks at her, looks at his hands, gripping her arms, looks at the cameras, and he lets go. He stands up, unclips his riot shield and drops it. The sound cuts through the chaos. Clang. Every head turns. For 5 seconds, nobody moves. Then the officer next to him does the same. Clang. Then another. Clang, clang, clang. It spreads down the line like falling dominoes. 43 officers drop their shields and walk off the line. Not desertion, not mutiny, just refusal. The police line collapses. Senior officers scream into radios, "Hold position! Hold the line!" But the line is gone. Protesters stand up, not to attack, just to witness. Some pick up the abandoned shields, hold them up to cameras. The symbolism is perfect. At 1:15 a.m, military transport vehicles roll into Westminster. British Army, full combat gear, rifles, the nuclear option. Young soldiers file out, form a new line between protesters and Parliament. This is the moment everything could ignite. This is where protests become tragedies. The crowd sees soldiers, the soldiers see civilians, weapons are raised, safety's off, fingers near triggers, the tension is suffocating. Then something unexpected happens from the crowd. A group of older men walks forward. Military berets, service medals, veterans. One approaches a young soldier. The kid looks terrified, his rifle shaking slightly. The veteran stops 3 feet away, doesn't touch the weapon, just speaks loud enough for everyone to hear. "Son, I wore that uniform in Belfast. I wore it in Afghanistan. I know what you're feeling right now." The soldier's eyes are wide, listening. "You're thinking about orders, about duty, about doing your job." The veteran's voice gets quieter but more intense. "But I'm telling you right now, as someone who carried that rifle for 20 years, if you pull that trigger tonight, you don't save this country. You break it forever." Silence. "The people you're aiming at, they're not your enemy. They're your neighbours, your teachers, your grandparents. They're the reason you signed up to protect this country in the first place." The young soldier's hands are shaking harder. The veteran steps closer. "Gentle now. Lower your weapons, son. There's no honour in this fight." For 10 seconds, nothing happens. Then slowly, the soldier lowers his rifle. The veteran nods, then turns to face the crowd. "You've made your point. The whole world is watching. The government knows it can't win this with force. Now go home."
In the biggest democratic exercise in the history of...
can't be taken back. For a long moment, nobody moves. Then slowly, people start leaving. Not everyone. Not immediately. But enough. By 4 a.m, Parliament Square is mostly empty. Abandoned shields lie scattered across the pavement. Red smoke residue stains the stone. Police collect their gear in silence. Soldiers stand down without incident. No deaths, no serious injuries. But something fundamental changed. The British government tried to use force to control peaceful protest and failed publicly. 43 police officers refused orders on camera. The military was deployed against British citizens for the first time since the miners' strikes.
In the biggest democratic exercise in the history of...
Within 48 hours, 3 cabinet ministers resign. The Home Secretary faces a no-confidence vote. The Public Order Act amendments are suspended pending review. Protests continue across the UK, but the government doesn't send riot police anymore because everyone learnt the same lesson that night. Force only works when people consent to be governed by force. The moment that consent breaks, the entire system reveals itself as fragile. Parliament Square was never about one protest. It was about a threshold being crossed. The threshold where citizens collectively say, "No, not anymore." And here's what should concern every government watching this. It happened fast. 6 hours from peaceful protest to shield drop to military standoff to government retreat. That's the timeline now. That's how quickly control can evaporate. Not through revolution, not through violence, through mass civil disobedience and the refusal of enforcement personnel to act against their own communities. The technology made it impossible to hide. The coordination made it impossible to contain. And the moral clarity made it impossible to justify. This isn't the last time we'll see this pattern. It's the first. So here's the question you need to ask yourself. When this happens in your country, in your city, what will you do? Will you demand your government use force to restore order? Will you join the people sitting in the square, or will you be the person who stands between them trying to prevent the violence, is coming? There's no right
in the biggest
answer.
democratic exercise in the history
because
of...
pretending this can't happen where you live isn't an option anymore. The blueprint exists, the tactics work, the technology enables it, and the next time it happens, it will move even faster. Subscribe now, because we're tracking every government response, every protest movement, every moment the social contract gets tested. This story isn't finished. It's just beginning. Share this with someone who needs to understand what's coming, and leave a comment. What would you do? Because the price of freedom isn't just awareness, it's participation. It's refusing to look away when things get uncomfortable. It's asking the hard questions before the crisis forces them on you. That starts right here, right now. Don't wait until the shields are dropping in your city to start paying attention. By then, it's already too late to prepare. The world just changed. Make sure you're watching